to be away from the thing. God, it won't stop till I let it all in. Want to be away from the thing. God, it won't stop till I let.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to season 3 of My Leap of Faith. And there has been moments that I didn't know if I was coming back, which I know sounds strange, but we've been in this house almost a month and I'm still grounding. I'm still in that state of not knowing what's next and still communicating with the land and also myself because I don't really know where I'm going from here. But I finally got to a place where I realized that is part of the process. And I think that sharing that part of the process is something that I should also do. So, what can I tell you guys? I am so happy to be out here in nature. That's the first thing. And there's literally not one thing that I would change because it's just so peaceful. I have the window open right now and I'm hearing birds and it's just amazing. So now that I'm in nature, I have nothing but time and quiet to go deep, right? Or so you would think. But what I'm finding is that, of course, when you move, you have all of these things that you need to do, which is like unpack and get settled. And I'm finding myself kind of allowing that distraction to override my purpose and my groundedness and my centeredness. And I can't even, like, so many things have come up for me, but the first is I don't even know how people that are parents are able to know themselves. I'm going to just put that out there because if you constantly have distraction, it's like you get so used to it that you don't even realize you're distracted. I don't know if that even makes sense, but like I'm imagining this idea of unpacking and settling here as like there's always something to do. I'm definitely not unpacked. There's so many things that we want to do to the house and blah 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 blah. But if I allow that to take center stage, which I have, the last 3 weeks I have let it, and it's almost been a bit of a crutch because in a way, I don't want to say it is. It's easier if it's the screaming thing in your ear or that's what you see every day. It's much easier to give it attention than to pull back from these physical realities that we have and go into this etherical place because I don't know. I've had like so many moments where I've thought, is this the week that it's time to go back? And then I would get, no, it doesn't feel like it. And even now, like I'm honestly sitting here saying, like all week I've been thinking about, is it time? Do I even have anything to share? And, I have gotten we had a energy tribe meeting the other day and I realized that it's so hard to say, but I'm moving into a different part of my journey. So the part of me that can tune in and download and share things kind of feels like she realizes that she was being like a newscaster. And how did that come about was someone had asked me or told me that one of the episodes that I did was impactful for them. And I didn't remember the episode. And then I was like, well, I can't reply to the text if I don't know what I'm replying about. So then I went and listened to the episode, which you guys know I never do because I can't I have a really hard time listening to my voice. And as I'm listening to it, it all makes sense. Like, I'm like, wow, that's pretty insightful. But I don't remember saying it. And I don't remember, I don't know. Like, I wonder, is it because I was so preoccupied with so many other things that I was just allowing energy to move through and without really embodying them? And I really think, and I'm going to say, probably for the last 6 months, maybe longer, I'm realizing that if I don't ground myself, nothing is able to manifest in this reality. So, what I mean by that is that I could be a vessel of, I called it like cosmic news, but I'm not able to embody it if I'm not grounding. And I haven't been grounding probably, I don't even know, probably since about 6 months, maybe a little longer. And that was because I couldn't find land to do that with, which again, probably is more of an excuse than a reality. But so what was happening is I was working with my upper chakras and tuning in and giving out information. But, and I'm just going to bring up human design really quick. Because my ajna and my throat are defined, it's easy for me to get that information out. I have a split definition, so I'm able to live up here in part of my chakras. But then I also have my spleen and my root defined, and they communicate, but that's instinct and that's stress and that's grounding, and that was not connecting. So if you avoid, or if I avoided those parts of myself, I would say, I mean, not to have a judgment, but longer than I should have. So they kind of went dormant. And I am realizing I can't move forward without them. And I hope that that's helpful for you guys, because, man, all that I'm getting here now, surrounded by nature, and you can see all the bright light. I'm facing a window that's just nature. It's like living in the jungle. But I'm here, and it's like I don't know how to speak the language anymore. And I know that's just me being in my ego about it, because of course I can relearn it. And I want to, and I decided that I'm going to try to take you guys on the journey of how I do that. And I've done this before. You guys know that I've talked about, I'm at the bottom of the wheel. I'm at my rebirth, or I was at my rebirth back in December. And now I'm ready to start grounding information again. And there's a process. So the first time that I did this was when I was taking shamanism school with Lori Andros, and it's basically learning to commune with nature again. And I've had a past life reading where I've done this many lifetimes. So it's not something that I've forgotten. It's just relearning a language and being still enough and patient enough to listen. And I'm going to share, I watched the sunrise here, and I've started an earth altar here, and I have been trying to be quiet and trying to really listen, but it's a process. Like, I remember when I was going to the cliffs in San Diego, I mean, I was consistent, like I would say every other day going, and probably for about a year. And it took about 6 months. And then at a new moon, I was there, and that's when I started seeing the matrix or the grid. And that hasn't changed. I still see it, but it took a lot of, I would say, fruits cultivating energy to open up to that part of myself. And that's what it feels like. Again, I feel like there's something that's going to be birthed through me, but I can't access it until I slow down. And it's funny because a lot of, now that I think about it, a lot of the energy work that I do, the first thing I do is slow the person down. Like I bring them into the rhythm of the waves and slow down the chakras so that I can work with them, because we're constantly stimulated and constantly have this to do, this to do. And even if you're relaxing, you're probably tuned into Netflix and chilling that way, but your mind's like, and you aren't still. So, God, it's been the last month for me has been a lot of distraction. And just the other day was the first day I was in this house alone for the whole day. And just being able to listen to the silence was something that I had been craving, but we had, family visiting, and we had all this, things that come along with moving. But, oh man. I just am really wanting you guys to know that, I mean, we've talked about this already, but that we go through these cocooning phases for a reason. And I know that it's so that I relearn the importance of bringing what is ready to come forward into this planet. And a big bird just flew right above me. And I did an episode that was called Becoming an Earth Seed, I believe, something like that. And that's what it is. We can relate to our star selves and our star beings because it is our light. But on this planet, we have to ground in order to birth anything. And I had been struggling with like, okay, what's the next step? Am I going to create a program to teach? But I wasn't finding the footing, I guess is how I would call it, like the rungs to grasp onto to move up a mountain. And I couldn't, I would get downloads, but I couldn't ground it. Like I couldn't really bring it into motion or a plan here. And I know that this process is, and even I would say moving into a town that is a way slower pace than the city. And it's beautiful, like it's beautiful to have one grocery store, and it's beautiful to have like one place to. This morning I went and I did my first class of jazzercise, which when I saw it's on like the main road, and when I saw it I was like, ooh, I want to try that. And it's just fun, like it's just dancing and fun. And I'm sure there's things like that in the city, but you're just being bombarded by so many things and you have so many options that it's hard to like really anchor in and pick one thing. I remember where I used to live, like there were probably, I don't know, 5 grocery stores around me, and I always struggled with which one to go to. Now it's like there's one, and I'm good with it. So the choices in my life have gotten really narrowed down. And even so that when I am out in the city and I drive out here, it goes from like 4 lanes to 3 lanes to 2 lanes. And when it hits 2 lanes, I just feel like a relaxation, because life is much slower paced now. Now, oh God, there are many lessons in that, and you have to look at what puts you in this time-space reality, and I know now I needed to slow down. There have been so many changes in my life that it's time to really anchor them in now. And I think it's helpful to understand that this is part of the process. Like, we of course want to have the gifts come through, but they can't come through if you're not anchored in. And yeah, I'm going to relearn that, and I'm hopefully bringing you guys with me. And also, I looked as I was about to sit down and record this, and this episode is number 108, which in numerology is a 9. And the 9 represents completion. It's the last of the single digit numbers, which are known as the cardinal numbers in numerology, and the highest in value. That said, it symbolizes a culmination of wisdom and experience and buzzes with the energy of both endings and beginnings. And I was like, yeah, that's what this is. I mean, I am still in it. I can't say that I know where it will end. It could be a whole season of that because like I said the last time, it was a long time that it took me to really hear what was going on in the universe and really like relate it to my life, relate it to other people's lives, and share from that place. But I'm just taking a breath because I think that if I'm going through it, I know that other people are as well. And I know that not a lot of people share this part. You know, a lot of people believe that when someone has gotten it figured out, they have it figured out. And I am going to be honest, I don't think that's the truth. And I always talk about not knowing anything because, I mean, the depths that we and our souls have for us, it's so endless that I haven't even scratched that, I haven't even probably even nicked it. So I think that's exciting. Another thing that came up for me that since I've moved out here, which I love, is that my cousin visited, and one of the nights we did, there's these CBD drinks that are, I don't know, in California, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys can get them wherever you are, but it's like taking a gummy, but instead of a gummy, it's a drink. And I mean, it just tastes like a seltzer water, but for some reason, those are really potent for me. And my cousin said the next day, she's like, they call me Gabe because that was my childhood nickname, but they always say, or she said, I like hi Gabe better than normal Gabe. And I was like, why? What is the thing? And she said, because you let go of your tight assness. And I love that. Like, I love that. What happens when I get very playful and very like, just silly and just laughing and laughing and laughing. And I think that even though it's using a medicine to get there, I see a part of me really longs for that. So kind of like the jazzercise thing, it's like being silly and just playing and dancing and not caring who's watching. It's like that part of me is needed. And I think what I'm already kind of picking up on is that the part of me that is the less, like, that drops the tight assness is wanting to be rebirthed in my sober life. And now it's like being in nature and nobody watching, what's stopping me, like where is my child, where is my I don't know what you would call it, my playful self. And I think, yeah, I'm looking for her, and I really am longing for her. Because it's not as serious as I make it out to be, and it's not as serious as life makes it out to be. It's all a game, and, why do we have to take it so seriously, And most of these things that I'm just contemplating right now are, it's like a breath of fresh air, and I know that the matrix and our conditioning have made us really put up the constraints to keep us in a box, like keep us on the straight and narrow, right? That's where my tight assness is I want to do everything right. And also in the case of my mom, she was very like type A personality, and there were really no room for mistakes. I mean, yes, I was very creative and different, and definitely different than her, but I never did bad things. Like I was very on the straight and narrow. And I think that those like railroad tracks kind of kept me tight, like kept me like on the like in line, and it's an imposed being in line because she didn't. I mean, yes, she, I'm sure, was happy that I wasn't a handful for her, but if you really think about why our personalities are the way they are, it's because we made them to survive, right? Like we put these rules on ourselves. No one else gives a shit. But we did. We thought like this is how you have to be to survive or even thrive or even like stay out of trouble or I don't know, like not look different. And I remember, well, actually, I will say this too. Richard is funny and he tells jokes all the time, but I don't get them. Like, they go right over my head because my family didn't have that. Like, we didn't laugh. We're very serious, and my mom was very serious, like, always working, very serious. And so he'll tell jokes, but I'm like, I didn't get it. I don't understand humor. And I mean, even think about that, like not understanding humor. That's clearly something that I need to work on. And I'm excited to kind of explore that part of myself. And I don't know again how that will come about, but I can feel the playfulness coming and I really am excited about it. So this whole period is all about being in that cocoon and in the chrysalis and really like bringing forward the parts of myself that exist, and I know they're in there, like as I've seen glimpses of her come through, most of the time I would say in plant medicine, but at times when my guard is down, like today in the jazzercise, like I was having a great time. And I think that part of me, that childlike energy is where it's at for me. The more that I have spent time here, it seems like it's reoccurring. That idea keeps reoccurring and coming up, and that there's no mistake when that happens. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I am looking forward to what this season of this podcast brings, and I also am looking forward to sharing it and all the mistakes and all the whatevers. I don't care. I really feel like it's just like showing the real me. And I've talked about this before too. Like I have felt like I have to be a certain way if I'm recording a video, or if I think I talked about it, look a certain way. And I feel a little bit different about that. I'm kind of feeling more natural here. I don't really do my hair here. I don't really wear makeup here. And I'm kind of like just chill, and I really, I like that part of myself. And I want to share her with you guys. So I think that is a big part of my lesson and part of why I'm here, So, yeah, I am welcoming you guys to this new season and all that it will be, because I'm excited to find out as well. So, as always, thank you for being here. I also have decided to pull back my energy from the Energy Tribe group. I am only going to be doing one circle a month. Again, it's still free and everybody is welcomed whenever you're ready to join or want to join. And I love that energy so much. But I also am learning that by me over-giving or oversharing, I'm keeping other people from stepping up into that same energy and learning what that feels like to share their gifts. And my hope, one of the other members had a suggestion on the weeks that I'm not holding circle, for other people in the group to step up and share what their gifts are with the group. And I honestly am so excited about that. So, a lot of changes, all good and all exciting. And I hope you guys are well, and I look forward to talking to you next week.